On. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I call David Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When we look at the financial statements of the New Zealand Government for the year ended 30th of June 2011 and the Treasury, we need to take a good look at what we inherited from the previous administration, and that was an economy in recession. We got an economy in recession before the rest of the world. That was what we inherited from the Labour New Zealand First coalition, was an economy in recession. Since then, we've managed to turn that around. In the most difficult of economic times, we have turned that around. And not only have we turned that around, but we have set up the infrastructure and the economic platform for New Zealand to grow. Today we had a question in the House about the roads of national significance from the Green Party, wondering why they should have that. Well, that's investing in the future growth of New Zealand. That's investing in the future of this country. And Sue Moroney there is laughing. I'd like to see her go to the people of Hamilton and laugh at them when they see those roads being built around their city, which will link us to Auckland and grow that city. That growth is imperative and important for New Zealand going forward. National has delivered that infrastructural growth in the most difficult of times. Not only have we delivered that, but we've set up the structures so that New Zealanders have the right signals and incentives out there. If you get a good education, if you work hard, you're going to get some rewards. And that's what we want. We want New Zealanders to know that if they work hard, they get an education, the future is theirs. The other side would rather take from people and try and redistribute that and make everybody equal and therefore control them. That's the party of the opposition. That's how they've always been and always will be. The National Party has a different vision, and it's a vision that we've enacted in the most difficult of times, and it's a vision that's working. New Zealand is doing as well as any country has done in the Western world in these difficult times. Would you rather be in Europe or in America? Well, they wouldn't live in Europe or America. They want to be in New Zealand. And it's all right for the New Zealand First Party to come into this House and to try and put down the Chinese. But the Chinese government, the Chinese economy is saving us through the buying our dairy products. And it would be interesting to see if we didn't have that market, how smart people in the New Zealand economy would be. This is a government that understands economic fundamentals. That is the difference between the government and the opposition. We understand what you need to do to build a strong economy, and we are doing that. And at the same time, we have delivered the social services that New Zealand's people needed. We didn't scare the horses. We didn't go out there and cut social services at a time where you could have done that, but we didn't. We maintained those social services. We maintained the integrity of the New Zealand social welfare system. We had to borrow to do that, but we did it. And we've also delivered a rebuild program for Christchurch with the major natural disaster there. That city will be rebuilt. Those people know that this government stands behind them. They know that this government is here for the people of Christchurch, unlike the opposition that will come into this House and try and pull down the regrowth of that city just for political purposes. That is not good enough. New Zealanders expect more from their government, and they've got more. They've got good leadership, they've got an economic plan that will be successful and work, and the Labour Party says, where's this economic plan? Well, we want to see what David Shearer has got to say. He hasn't said anything in 4 months, has he? There hasn't. Grant Robinson said more than David Shearer has said in the last 4 months, and he's not even the leader. Well, he might want to be the leader, but he isn't. And the Labour Party hasn't got a plan. They know they haven't got a plan. They look across us and see that we have got a plan. We've got a direction. We're investing in that infrastructure. We're investing in education. We're telling our people if you make the right decisions, you work hard, then your opportunities will be there.
Order. Point of order, the Right Honourable Winston.
Chairman, is your stopwatch going? Because that speech sounds a whole lot longer than for 5 minutes.
No, I'm very mindful of the time. Just to remind the member that on numerous occasions you brought the chair into the debate. You cannot do that. And also focus back on what this, we're looking at the financial review of the Finance and Expenditure Committee's financial review. That's what we're concentrating on.
And we are on the financial review because in those financial statements, they show that this government is making the right decisions to take New Zealand forward. It's investing in the infrastructure, it's investing in that social spending, but at the same time recognising the demands on this economy and the demands on this government going forward in these very difficult times. And we've had to borrow in those financial statements to get through these difficult times. But that was the right decision for New Zealand going forward. And nobody would dispute that. And I would imagine that if the other side of the House had anywhere near the chains of power, they would have borrowed a lot more. And that would have set this economy spiralling into disaster. We didn't. We borrowed what was prudent for this economy going forward, and we have delivered at the same time the right investments with that borrowing. We haven't spent it on silly things. We've spent it on the things that count, giving the right incentives.
I call Todd McLean.
Well, Mr. Chair, thank you very much. What a pleasure it is to rise this evening in this House and speak after Mr. David Bennett.